Now, you may remember, I'm sure you don't forget, that there was an army of trolls that were attacking you. And one of the things that I was curious about is who the heck are these people? And I went and I pieced it together. I think I identified 28 different people, news people, crazed lunatics, who were all working in
Psychopaths.
tandem.
Mhm.
In tandem. And I created a website called The Truth About Chlorine Dioxide. And if you go there, there's the Hall of Shame. And I had the list of not every single person, but the main people that were targeting Kerry and how they were interacting with each other. And it all seems to go back, believe it or not, to Rupert Murdoch and the Times of London. But that's a whole nother story. But anyway, one of the worst offenders was this woman. Let's shout out her name, Brandy Zadrowski, or something like that, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, she wrote for. And I hate to bring up a sore. This is painful, but people need to know what's going on behind the scenes, and the things that true healers, authentic healers, genuine healers have to contend with in this world. So this so-called reporter from NBC teamed up with two, I'll call them psycho trolls.
Psychopaths.
And really, I mean, horrible people. And I don't know if you've ever talked about this phenomenon, but if they don't like a family, because maybe they're using natural methods to successfully treat their children under a doctor's supervision, they will file a child protection complaint against the family. Never saw the family, never met the family, never saw the child, never met the child, never talked to the doctor. But the system allows people to do that. And this one pair of, I don't know, women.
Psychopath is really the correct word, Ken. They're psychopaths. The ones at the top are psychopaths. There's no question about it. They're not okay.
They're definitely not okay. And then they would go out and enroll, I would call unhinged people with way too much time on their hands. And this one pair of women in the United States filed 300 child protective complaints against families with autistic children. I mean, I'm struggling to imagine anything more vicious and more evil, and it's hard to come up with something worse than that. But anyway, believe it or not, the same group of people, not the same individuals, but the same technique was used to track down nurses who spoke out against the death protocols that were taking place during COVID. And they're still being used. That was the one mistake I made in this book. I thought I was writing about the history of something that happened. And the day the book came out, families started contacting me and said, we just lost our uncle this way. I just lost my husband this way. So they are still killing people with the COVID protocols. And they are doing their best to shut down anybody that talks about it. And they went after these nurses. And Kerry, you'll appreciate this. So there's the undersecretary of the United Nations teamed up with a group called Team Halo, worked with TikTok to give them white label status. In other words, anything they posted would go through, no problem. On the surface, they were fighting disinformation. Behind the scenes, they were doxing, giving out the home addresses of nurses who had been outspoken against the medical protocols and the vaccinations. And it got really, really bad for these nurses. And the UN, I mean, this almost sounds like a right-wing crazy conspiracy. The UN did it. The UN actually did it. We have the video of the Undersecretary of Communications bragging about Team Halo, which in reality was a vicious troll army full of psychopathic thugs. So I'm laughing because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. But one of my happiest things about the book is that we did mention old Brandy in this book. And we called her out by name as one of the worst offenders of the use of, yeah. And I ain't going to forget her. She's going to be coming up a lot. But anyway.
No, and this has to go down in history, Ken. I mean, what you're doing is you're documenting something in history. So maybe they can burn my book, okay, which they have. They can burn my book. They can burn my books. They can blacken my name out. But the more of us that keep this going, like what you're doing, like what I'm, etc., it will, Brandy will be known for the dark side. She will not be known for anything good. Well, she's not capable of anything good, but Yeah,
this is the same woman who, and then she, not only did she attack Kerry, she attacked one of Kerry's families. And this family was working with Kerry and an MD, and they had miraculous effects from what Kerry was teaching them. Miraculous. Their son, severe vaccine injury, severe lost speech, never regained it. He was in his 20s, couldn't speak a word, was having, and unfortunately, boys get big and strong, and he was having dangerous fits almost hourly. And as a result of the treatment that Kerry recommended, he's now can speak 20 words. I don't know, maybe more. I haven't talked. I'm not going to mention the mom's name because I don't want to get the trolls going. But last time I spoke with her, he has 20 words, which is amazing. After 20 years of no speech, to be able to say hi, goodbye, thank you, I love you. He gets upset every now and then, but it's maybe once or twice a week, and he can be reasoned with. It's not the all nuclear reaction. So this is a miraculous healing. So what did this Brandy Zadronsky or whatever her name is do? She wrote an article naming this woman and her town by name and suggesting that the police go and arrest her. Now, the police did hassle her, and the judge looked at it and said, this is insane. This child is being well cared for. An MD is supervising this. Get this case out of my court. So anyway, so that's history. Now, of course, they came up with their latest scam, which was COVID. And anybody like you and so many people who are familiar with the fact that we literally live under a medical dictatorship.
Tyranny,
Yeah, we weren't surprised by COVID. This is like, wow, they're really pushing it this time, but it's not. This is nothing new. It was nothing new or surprising to any of us.